Welcome to tonight's Poetry Dram, streamed live from Reading South Street's Art Centre. Thank you for being with us tonight to celebrate National Poetry Day 2020. Woo. My name is Vic Pickup, and I'll be hosting tonight with fellow poet Zanna Kearns. The theme for this year's National Poetry Day, if you didn't know already, is vision. So we'll be bringing you a selection of vibrant, visionary poems from a diverse and talented bunch of Reading's poets. The importance of technology has become clearer than ever for most of us during the obstacles we've faced so far this year. But there will be a time when we can embrace the microphone again and pull our chairs that bit closer and come back together as a creative community in venues like South Street Art Centre. So by buying your ticket today, you have helped bolster this centre ready for us when we return. So this performance will be about an hour long and will remain available to view for 2 weeks from today with the link that you already have. Right, let the poetry commence. I'm going to read you a couple of short poems, I promise. And then we have a pre-recorded performance from Reading's favourite children's poet, A.F. Harold. So if your children are still awake, get them out of bed. This is their moment. Afterwards, we'll be hearing Damon Young, who will be reading from his debut pamphlet, Family Room, which is launched this week from Dempsey and Windle. Big woos. And Damon will be followed by the fabulous Susan Utting of Two Rivers Press fame. You'll find full details of our poets and where you can buy their books by visiting Reading Culture Live website. It will all be up very soon, if it's not there already. So here's one of mine from a forthcoming pamphlet, Lost and Found, which will be coming out from Hedgehog Poetry Press. It's called So Much Wrong with the World. Slowing, the cold air catches in my throat. The sky is a grey wash. There are 2 dead hares floating, bloated. I stop to photograph a bridge of stilts when she comes bounding over the brow, lolloping, sweaty, tongue lolling from jaws like a piece of wet ham. She's meaty, brown and matted, stumbling off the bridge, down the ridge, tumbling arse over teat into the water. All sploshing mutes the distant human pleas to resist the river. By the time the owner arrives, puffing, the panting lab is neck deep in cold water, with a smile so big, all you can do is get in with her. The second poem I'm going to read is likely to be a familiar one. It's propped up, pride of place, on my desk, and serves to refresh my vision whenever I get bogged down by world events, which at the moment is fairly regularly. This is Portable Paradise by Roger Robertson. And if I speak of paradise, then I'm speaking of my grandmother, who told me to carry it always on my person, concealed so no one else would know but me. That way they can't steal it, she'd say. And if life puts you under pressure, trace its ridges in your pocket, smell its piney scent on your handkerchief, hum its anthem under your breath. And if your stresses are sustained and daily, get yourself to an empty room, be it hotel, hostel or hovel. Find a lamp and empty your paradise onto the desk. Your white sands, green hills and fresh fish. Shine the lamp on it like the fresh hope of morning and keep staring at it till you sleep. Thank you. Thank you, Roger. I think we all need a little portable paradise in our lives. Over to A.F. Harold with his wonderful performance, which your children and you will love. Thank you.
Oh, hello, I was just having a sandwich. It's me, A.F. Harold here. Thank you very much for letting me come and be a part of this celebration of National Poetry Day here in Reading's cultural zone of cultural zoniness. It's a joy to be amongst so many of our great writers and poets and speakers and what have you here. Anyone who knows me in the Reading cultural scene will know I ran Poets Cafe at South Street for a long time. I was involved with Bohemian Art, all sorts of things. But most recently, the last decade or so, I've mainly been involved with writing children's books. So I stepped back from the live thing and writing children's books. And this is my latest book, the Book of Not Entirely Useful Advice. And it's a poetry book. So I thought I'd read some poems from this to you, for you, tonight, from this. Book of Not Entirely Useful Advice, poems by me, illustrations throughout by Minnie Gray, fantastic Oxford-based illustrator there, so still fairly local. And this book, as you might imagine, is full of poems that are full of, well, advice that's going to improve the lives of you, the lives of your children as they read this, the lives of people just wandering by in the bookshop, saving their money. So I'll begin with a poem. This is on page 18 for anyone following in the text, and this is a poem called Blackbirds and Bananas, and it's a poem that will, I guess, help you distinguish between the two. Think of it as a sort of 13 ways of looking at blackbirds and bananas poem for kids. A banana is yellow with little bits of black. A blackbird is black with little bits of yellow. A banana grows up in a tree. A blackbird grows up in a tree. A banana is about the size of a blackbird. A blackbird is about the size of a banana. A banana is a surprising but not unheard of pie filling. A blackbird is a surprising but not unheard of pie filling. A banana, a blackbird, a banana. Listen, my lunchbox is singing. The next poem I'd like to read, moving on, page 20, for anyone still following in the text. This poem is called How Many is Too Many? And it's kind of, I guess, the sort of central poem to the collection. The Book of Not Entirely Useful Advice. It promises at the front. There's a money back guarantee, right? It's honestly so simple. I'm willing to offer a money back guarantee, it says here, if after you have read this book and absorbed all the advice you still get eaten by a tiger in Bournemouth on a Thursday afternoon in August while talking to a woman called Gerald Bumbersnook, then I will happily, without quibbling, refund you the entire price of this book upon receipt of a letter from your mum sent to me via the publisher address in the front. I can't say fairer than that. So this is one of those poems that is specifically designed to help you achieve the not getting eaten by tigeriness of the promise of the book. How many is too many? Too many cooks spoil the broth. Too many spoons spoil the soup. Too much sand spoils the sandwich. And too many tigers spoil the picnic. How many tigers is too many tigers? Let's count them. No tigers at the picnic. Perfect. One tiger at the picnic. Too many. And Minnie has done the most wonderful, most solid looking tiger I've ever seen. I'm incredibly happy with that illustration there. She's a real wonder, is our Minnie Gray. So this is called The Dangers of Rock and Roll, page 29. Don't put a rock in a roll unless you hate having teeth, and be careful when rolling rocks in case you end up underneath. This poem is called Dangerous Habits, page 34. Letting the broccoli drive the car, keeping a porcupine in your bra, making a sausage out of hair, voting a boomerang in as mayor, carving a duvet out of ice, letting the cat babysit the mice, asking an opera singer to tea, dressing your sister up as me, setting 3 dozen socks on fire, calling your own left knee a liar, singing, my darling, I'm so glad you're going, wondering what is the point of this poem. Okay, a couple more poems, then I'll leave you in peace, brave listeners on the internet. It's a pleasure talking to you. Lots of poems here. Here's a poem called The Hedgehog. It's on page. There's so many beautiful pictures that they can't fit page numbers in. Many of the pages, 49, 51, page 53. I mean, it won't help you because there's no page numbers on some of these pages because the pictures are so voluminously beautiful. The Hedgehog. The hedgehog wants a cuddle in the cold winter night. He just wants his mummy to come and hug him tight. He's woken in the darkness when the others are asleep. He's alone and afraid, and the night is slow and deep. He sniffs and he snuggles up to his mummy's side. She wakes with a start and says, look, if you're going to wriggle and poke with your prickles every 5 minutes, you can just go sleep outside, child. Oh, stop being so fidgeting annoying. But this hedgehog just wants a cuddle. It's a little bit sad that, isn't it? One last poem from the book of Not Entirely Useful Advice. And this poem is about umbrellas. I'm recording this in advance, and at the moment it's not raining out there, but Thursday night, National Poetry Day night, it may well be raining, and this poem may be useful to you. Page 115. Umbrella poem. Look at the fella with the umbrella. To him the rain isn't a pain. The light shower lacks the power to get his hair wet. It feels good, this bundle of wire and cloth and wood, but it won't help when he falls in the river. Thank you very much, Reading Cultural World of Wonders. I've been A.F. Harold. This book is in Waterstones in Broad Street. There are signed copies in there or via my website, afharoldkids.com, 2 R's in Harold, afharoldkids.com, all one word with the dot and the com, and a www dot at the front. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Loads of brilliant readers, writers, poets talking to you tonight. Stick some poems in your head, wash your hands, keep safe, and we'll see you later on. Thank you very much. Good night.
Hello, my name's Damon. It's wonderful to be here. I think all of us poets were chatting at the start about how long it's been since we did a reading like this, so it's a joy to be here. Thank you for hosting South Street. The first poem that I'd like to read is from the pamphlet that Vic very kindly plugged for me. The name of the pamphlet is called Family Room because many of the poems, most of the poems, are about family in one way or the other, and perhaps the most dominant theme running through it is my relationship with my now 8-year-old daughter, and this is one of those poems. It's called Proud Feet. Come on, Angel Tiger, kick your proud feet into your proud boots and let's rub clouds from the sky. Maybe not those big lumpy sun shields, but we can handle those whiskers and wisps. We will giggle like we are tickled as they disappear under our thumb whirls, one eye closed each and mouths twisted in concentration as we return our chosen square of sky to blue. Eat your cinnamon swirls like they are your school week. Thump jaw every buttery bite and let me wipe away the persistent stray crumbs that stick to your weekend face. Drag me to the trampoline and bounce poison out through your toes. Let me tense and gulp at every prospective bruise whilst you throw out your legs at the world rising and falling under your socks. The next poem is about a family member who I never met. The reason becomes apparent in the poem. This is called Thomas Bue's Armistice. My great-great-uncle Thomas Bue foretold his death. In a poem sent home to mother, he wrote of the mounds of clay that served as graves across the fields of Flanders, of angelic voices that rose from that earth and carried loving words to mothers lost in deep grey pockets of grief. Yet, in 1918, his voice was within his torn body as he was ferried, still pulsing, back to his mother's care. I picture him on Armistice Day, a window cracked open to skin pricking November air, bells finding the corners of his room above sheets stained to the colour of rust. As peace dropped like blossom, his body remained a battlefield, a quagmire of white blood cells and sepsis, wounds infected by the Flanders clay at the moment of their infliction. As life and rhythm returned to the town's arteries, he died amidst the rebirth. He and Rhoda Bue, drops in a wave of loss that outlasted the silence of guns. Thank you. I'd like to go off-piste a little bit now and read a new poem, not from the collection, hopefully maybe a poem in a second collection, all being well. This poem is called Your Disease. We wake, and I feel a familiar listlessness next to me, a cut back on openness, a twist to your body and a hardness to your skin, itchy, twitchy and bitchy, you call it, a symptom of your disease. In accordance with your programme, you wish to speak your fear. Josie called you last night and you didn't say. The weight of your implication hangs without further exploration. I do not chase clarity, but lean into the shadow of your words and contain my umbrage at the suggested whiff of indecency. I feel the prick of self-investigation, scanning for the occasions when my instinctual eye ran over the softness of her hip. Yet, whilst I met your daughter in the glass-breaking beautiful bloom of adulthood, she is your child, and so a child to me too, and in any case my desire is wrapped up in you. Your words are a kick that I quietly absorb. My eyes reach sideways on the pillow to ascertain if the dust cloud over this morning has been dispersed. I must balance your impulses and respect your disease. Thank you. This is also a new poem, inspired by looking in the mirror, really, because it's called My Hair. My hair remembers my father's voice saying, "It'll be gone by the time you're 20 if you carry on like that." As I, a Travolta-obsessed 8-year-old, constantly quiffed it back. Now my hair is the rough edge of a matchbox. It buzzes beneath my fingertips and is all root. I tend to it myself, and afterwards I open the chambers of the hand-perfect clippers to find 4 salt and pepper-flecked molehills. I rinse them clear, and as my hair's ashes smear their way to the plug hole, they remember the clucking of my female kin, bemoaning their own lank thinness and claiming that abundance was wasted on me. My hair remembers the same voices crowing, "What a shame," at the first tidal pull on my hairline. When my hair grows enough to reveal symmetrical borders between growth and pink shine, it remembers my granddad. His was all gone by the time he reached 50. Thank you. And the last poem I'd like to read returns to my relationship with my daughter. And it concerns, it's called Mortality Salience, or Mortality Salience. I'm never quite sure how to pronounce the title of my own poem. But what the term is, it's a psychoanalytic term that describes the moment where a developing child becomes aware of mortality and therefore their own mortality. And that's what it's about. Today, for the first time, she wants to discuss death. Telling me she has said to God that she doesn't want to die and asking me if it will hurt. I run through the usual tropes about deep old age and slipping away to benevolent final sleep. Afterwards, as I watch her rosy fingers spread across piano keys, her feet dangling above the petals, her back set in the perfect posture of childhood, I am assaulted by the fact that one day she will die, and I will not be there to share it with her, unless... So I am forced into hoping that the memory of this milk-toothed, dance-eyed smile will be gone long before she goes. She swings round from her self-discovered arpeggios and catches the creases of projected grief upon my face. Within minutes, we tumble soft and reckless through the full range of our games, and the shadow of our fragility is sun-bleached and is gone. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello. Hiya. It's lovely to be here amongst real people and and real people out there watching. It's just very exciting. Yes, really good National Poetry Day. Vision, I'm going to read 3 poems loosely about vision, about literal vision and what we can see, and visions of the future as well. So they're all hopeful poems, I think. I hope so. The first one, I was trying to get away from writing about lockdown and all that stuff. I thought, well, I'll do an ekphrastic poem, a poem from another art form. So I got my my store of art postcards and riffled through them, and I found, oh yeah, that's nice. It was a snow scene. It was beautiful, a landscape under snow. And there was one little figure right in the middle of it, and I was fascinated by her. I saw she had her back to the painters and to us, so you couldn't see her. You couldn't see where she was going, really. Where she knew where she was going, I presume, but it was quite puzzling. I wanted to know what she could see, what she couldn't see, what she could imagine, and where exactly she was going. So I speculated on that, and then I was choosing a title, and I thought, oh, I know, Isolation. That's a good title. I know. So, so it's not about that. It's about the painting, which is called Snow and Mist, in brackets, Caprice in Yellow Minor, and it's by John Atkinson. Isolation. She's tiny, back onto us, a grey figure in a grey shawl, long skirt, little boots, hint of a basket on her arm. A long, thin line of footprints in the snow behind her say she's trudging, one small boot after the other, steady, straight, as if she knows where she is going. She's going down the slope of this bare hillside, into the thickening mist, away from us, towards a valley we can't see. She knows it's there, keeps home, its pinprick of light, in her mind's eye, in the steady rhythm of her boots across the snow. And this poem is a vision of an artist's vision, not the painting, but the artist is in the poem. And it's the poet in question is Ray Atkins. I don't know if you went to see his exhibition. I'm sure some of you did. That was in Reading Town Hall Art Gallery a year or so ago, I suppose. They were the most vibrant and energetic, huge paintings of Reading. Not just the pretty bits of Reading either, building sites and construction work when Reading was being rebuilt, rejigged, which seems to be happening most of the time. But so they're very, 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 as I said, energetic. And he was a very energetic painter. He was almost manic with it. And he used to take these big boards outside into the streets of Reading, not canvases, boards, and then he would paint away furiously all day and long into the night. So after dark, he was still at it. He had little candles around and a lamp so he could see what he was doing. So this is called Reading After Dark. I have taken liberties with Reading's status, which I was going to say I apologise for, but I don't actually. I think Reading deserves it. Reading After Dark, it's for Ray Atkins, the painter. The city that isn't a city, not yet, is on a night out, wearing its glitziest bling. The road is a dance floor, a double view mirror that throws back the flicker of streetlights, its dance to the jitter of tree leaf and shimmying branch. Sat slap in the path by the gasworks, there's a wide-hatted man who's at furious work with fat brushes and dollops of paint onto canvas-sized boards, his tea lights and tilly lamp doing their thing in the dark till it's lit up like Christmas. The city that isn't is shifting its edges in time to the rhythm of colour, the jazz riff of brushstrokes flung down by the man who's alight with himself, whose heart syncopates to the hum of a city, the painter whose brush makes it glow in the dark, makes it radiant. Yes, dancing. The road is a dance floor. Dancing is one of the things I really, really miss about the lockdown. I've always danced. It's been, in my life from very little. My parents taught ballroom dancing, so I was always aware of people dancing. They used to practice in the kitchen together and go dancing all the time. My mother was always sewing ball gowns and things. And then all through my life, I've done different sorts of dancing. Not so much ballroom, because that's you don't want to be doing what your parents do you? It's kind of square. So to be really cool, I did English country dancing, Scottish country dancing, square dancing. And then I got into salsa, and I was doing salsa. That's more recently. I had a terrific time doing salsa, but I had to stop because I kept getting injured. I was kicked, bruised, knocked about the place. And the final straw was my partner threw me up in the air. He caught me, but he grabbed me so tight, he broke one of my ribs. And I thought, this is not going to happen anymore. Looked around for something safer and more sedate and ended up joining a jive class, which is amazing. I've been going to 2 classes a week and then live events, live band events. And I discovered that there's a whole network of jivers out there, It's like when you first join a poetry group and you discover that there are poetry groups everywhere, there are poets everywhere, there's a whole network, poetry festivals, readings, open mics and things like that. It's just amazing. And jive is exactly like that. There are jivers all over the place, just really keen. But I say there were, we cannot dance anymore because it's very hard to dance jive while social distancing. Yes. I'm missing it, but I really want to believe, and this is where the vision comes in, that one day we will dance again. It'll all happen in one way or another. We may have to wear masks, but who cares? As long as we can dance. one of my other, I not call it an enthusiasm, but one of the things I've done most of my adult life is to practice yoga, and that comes into the poem. I just mentioned that. So this is my last one, and it's called Tomorrow We Shall Dance. It's as if the whole world has stopped, is holding its breath in a slow count of 10 suspended yoga breath, before an even slower counted out breath. This is stasis, stiller than a frozen lake that has forgotten how to wrinkle its skin, to fidget into ripples, to frown. This is the be here now of right now, the zen of indolence, the mantra moment, when the mantra's gone from stuck groove to single, a cappella, sustained note. This is when all cliches click into place, all things must pass, eternity's a lie, tomorrow is relentlessly another day. A distant day, when movement is allowed, when breathing may be uncontrolled, no counting in or out, no holding, just the easy 2-4, 4-4, slow then quick skittering of feet, the sway of bodies, toe tap, heel kick, bob and turn until it seems the earth joins in, begins again its own diurnal, joyful spin. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, everyone. I'm Zana. We do hope you're having a really great evening this evening with us. And the good thing, as Susan was saying, is it doesn't have to end here, because there are loads of events going on in and around Reading throughout the year. We have monthly open mics, performance poetry slams, there are writers' groups you can join, and our own local publishing house, the Two Rivers Press. So on readingculturelive.co.uk you can find lots of links about what's going on, so do take a look. We're also delighted this evening that we can announce the launch of our Advent poetry competition for children and young people. And we'll be sending details to schools, but again, you can look on Reading Culture Live to find out more. And the winners of each age category will get the opportunity to film their poems to be part of our digital Advent calendar. So it should be a great competition. Okay, so I'm next going to read one of my own poems, and this is about a time when I moved with my family to Switzerland, and we had to put our children into the local French-speaking school. And in terms of vision, it's really about how our imaginations can equip us and help us become resilient. And it's called The Days Before Bilingual. I send my daughter into a room when no one speaks her language, or rather she doesn't theirs. Small and rigid, she contains herself, shrinks her fear to a furred stone, the pit of a peach newly at her centre. They try to be kind, but how to play mummies and daddies without darling or apple. She stands at an easel, sweeps the arcs of rainbows until it's time again to sit and have words swirl around her like paintbrushes in a jar of water. Walking home, she screams, and I see the relief of all her day's words uncorked. The second day, she imagines a sparrow to fly with us to school. In biro, I draw a heart on her palm. She walks inside, my heart in her hand, a sparrow flying with her. Thank you. The next poem I'm going to read is with kind permission from its writer, Jenny Mitchell, and it's from her award-winning collection, Her Lost Language from Indigo Dreams. It's dedicated to her brother, and it's called Black Men Should Wear Colour. Black men should wear colour. I mean an orange coat, sunlight dripping down the sleeves. A yellow shirt to clash with bright blue trousers, taking inspiration from the most translucent seas. Pink leather shoes, fuchsia might be best to contrast with brown skin. Red socks should add some warmth, so long as they're the only flames to ever touch your feet. A tie could be mistaken for a noose, unless you choose a rainbow swirling on your chest. It will help to show the heart has all the colours in the world. Walk down any street with head held high. I will wave my colours back, and we will both be safe. Thank you. In a minute, we're delighted that Reading-born Holly McNish has sent through a set for us to enjoy. When that comes up, please be aware that some of her poems are adult in content, so they're not appropriate for children, and some viewers might find the language offensive. But we are really pleased to have her as part of our evening. But before that, we're delighted that Sarah Smith is with us. She'll be known to lots of us. She's an award-winning performance poet. Sarah.
Thank you. Hello, everybody at home. Yeah, I can hear you. So I'm only going to do two poems. One's a shorter one and one's a little bit longer. So the first one I want to do, unlike Susan, I haven't deliberately avoided writing about the current situation. BBC Berkshire asked me if I would do something for them fairly early on during the corona crisis, and they asked me if I would set a poetry challenge for listeners. So the challenge that I set people was to write a poem in 10 minutes with the title Lockdown. And obviously then, stupidly really, because then I realised I had to do it myself. So this is the poem that I wrote, and I make no apologies for some of the terrible rhymes in it because I did write it in 10 minutes. It's called Lockdown. If you're shut in, feeling mindless, stuck in lockdown by a virus, lift your eyes. There's plus and minus. Why not make the time less lifeless? Pen a poem on papyrus. Learn to twerk like Miley Cyrus. Sorry, not sorry. Lift your eyes, there's plus and minus. Skies can breathe with fewer flyers. There is beauty in the silence. There are heroes who inspire us. Lift your eyes, there's plus and minus. There is love. It can still find us. We won't let this virus blind us. In a world that's lined with kindness, lift your eyes, there's plus and minus. So the other poem that I want to do is a little bit longer. You might want to close your eyes and imagine some of the things that you can see. It's that sort of vision poem. Or if you find poetry a bit boring, don't close your eyes, you might go to sleep. I so want to touch the mic. It's really, but it's great to be on a stage again, isn't it, everybody? So lovely, and thank you for listening, everybody. South Street Arts Centre, thank you for hosting us. It's been really wonderful to be back here again. So this poem is an autumn poem. And it's also a wedding poem. I wrote it for my nephew, and I'm particularly dedicating it to people whose wedding plans have been scuppered at the moment. Friends of mine, Josh and Jen, have re-planned their wedding so many times now, we've lost count of what letter we're on. I think we're on plan G or H or something. But so this is for anybody in that situation and for everybody else as well, regardless of your relationship status on Facebook or otherwise. It's called Don't Be Afraid to Fall. Your love did not just spring from nothing, ping up overnight, like some weedy whip or sapling that might or might not thrive. Your love's been proved, grown deep through seasons, strong through storms that tested but did not remove it. Like two young trees you've lived and loved, and now you have the rings to prove it. You've always said you love the fall, cinnamon, pumpkin, rust and gold, when the days grow short and the nights grow cold, when the sunlight starts to slant and the leaves begin to tumble to the ground. They fall, they mould, become like frail vein skeletons. They're not afraid, you know, the leaves. Their secret is they feed the roots. The tree grows tall and new leaf shoots appear, then flowers and then fruit. But for fruit to grow, the flowers must fall. And for seed to be released, the fruit falls too. The flowers fade, so fruit will grow, and fruit decays, so seed can sow. Like acorns squirrels take and store right back within the tree that bore them, all things are connected. When acorns split, new trees grow tall. You need not be afraid to fall. You are completely cherished, so just fall completely in. Forget your pride. Fall face first, arms wide. Give all your trust. For when you fall, it grows. And when you give your all, you gain what no one knows. Because you need to lose in order to find. To give your life away to be fully alive. You must embark on a journey to know what it feels like to arrive home. So may your love be strong as pine and as flexible as willow, as graceful as the elm and like the maple sweet and mellow, as useful as the roots of spruce, like cherries may you blossom. May you be poplar, fragrant as cedar, magic like the rowan tree, and as long-lived as you is, may you long-lived be. And remember above all, that winter, spring, summer or fall, the most beautiful thing in the forest is not the leaves, the berries, the brook, the birdsong, the oak, the rowan, the ash, the aspen, the larch. It's not the path or the clearing, the toadstool or the nest. The most beautiful thing in the forest is the light that connects them all. The light that warms and nurtures, ripens and protects. The light that shines down summer shafts through autumn dapples, in translucent hues of bluebell springs, or glorious glossy frosty mornings. It's the brightest gleams, dust-speckled beams, fiery sunsets, the crisp white sheen of snow, lemon-edged hedges, dove-grey mists that glow. It's the light that shines behind, between, which makes the leaves green, amber, red, stop, red and amber, green. And when there's a breeze, it's this light which makes these leaves shimmer as they slip and slide like simple silken sheets, simmer as they shift and shine like shingle on a beach. This light is the love that unites us all. In love, all things are connected. Love lights up the tree in all of us, brings out the you in you, binds each of you to each other. If someone else has given you themselves, look after that self with all of yourself. Go all in. Give your all without expecting anything in return. Breathe in each other's dreams and pain, and with compassion, like oxygen, breathe them out again, and you'll dance together like trees in the rain. There will be more seasons, more storms, more fruitfulness, more joy, more loss. But you are bound together now, to weather them together now, to shelter each other and others too. Be a windbreak, a safe haven. Put down deep roots and care for those around you. And as you do, when the bow bends, may your bonds hold tight. May you find that to fall is to be fully alive. May gentle stars lighten your path by night, and by day, may the love that joins all things guide you on your beautiful way. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for having me here. I wish I was really in Reading with everybody, because that's where I was born and where I was brought up, just outside Thatcham, so just outside Reading. But yeah, born in Reading, it's got a very special place in my heart. So I hope you're all well and enjoying the evening of poetry, and I'm going to read about 5 poems for you from a few different books, and I hope you enjoy them. I guess vision, the idea of vision, the kind of theme of the night for me is all about working out how you actually see things compared to how, I guess, society tells you to see things. And so they're roughly along that sort of theme. So I thought I'd start with this one. It's called Megatron, and it's one that I wrote when my daughter was 2 years and 6 months old. And it was after my first sort of night out away from her. And we went to see the Transformers movie at the local cinema, and afterwards everyone was sort of talking about how amazing the Transformers were, and I just got a bit bored of the conversation and wrote this poem. I sort of felt like my body had done a bit better than a Transformer over those last 3 years, and I got a bit tired of them getting all the credit. So yeah, this is called Megatron. For anybody that's not a Transformers fan, Megatron is like the big bad Transformer, and Optimus Prime is the big good Transformer, and then there's the Autobots and the Decepticons, who are like the Transformer helpers. I think that's all you need to know really about this poem. Megatron. He said, Megatron's the best one. If I was one, it's him. Optimus Prime's all nice and stuff, but it's Megatron who really wins. I've listened so many times to this since last week's sodden Transformers hit, and I smile until today. I say, Megatron ain't shit. Last year, my hips moved another ½ an inch back together. He said, Holly, Megatron lives forever. I said, Megatron's not real. If you want to see a real live Transformer, come and have a feel. And I pushed his fingers closer and then right inside my stomach to feel the gap my muscles left from something I now know a bit as birth. And I knew that this would hurt, but I did not know the rest, that there's a hole inside my stomach till the day I'm laid to rest. And though you're right, I said, it's not the same. I didn't turn into a car. I turned into a factory, a life support and cooker. As my body started morphing, my insides realigned, my digestive system shifted and completely redesigned itself. No help from the Decepticons or the Autobots. What vitamins I'd got moved from my blood into hers now, the direction of my nutrients redirected into hers. How? I don't know. Everyone sees our stomachs grow. We do not see the rest. Rib cage is cranking up to make more space for baby's legs. Diaphragm moves down. My womb fills up with fluid and a brown line on your skin appears, and no one even drew it. A brown line on your skin, from between your legs to boobs. The only line a baby can see to lead them to the food. Labour came and went, something that I won't forget. Baby now in my arms, and my system shifted once again. Digestion redirected to 2 breasts that grew one night, bigger than a large ripe pair of cantaloupes. Get me a pump, I yelled, genuinely worried that they might explode. My boobs stay warm to heat the milk. My nipples make a hole. And every time the baby drinks, the suction makes my womb shrink back. My hips move back. My ribs and diaphragm move back. My hair grow back. My back stretch back. And after 2 more years of doing that, my system shifted back. Nutrients came back into my own body's blood again. And now I'm almost back to how I was before that seed took life. Complete transformation without one single robot fight, but no one makes an action film of this. In fact, all my body has to show for it are the markings on my belly. My hip bones stay apart a bit and my boobs are pretty saggy. But the saddest thing of all is that I'm told these marks are bad. But they're the only few reminders of this process we all have as the real life time transformers. I'm saying Megatron ain't shit compared to female bodies to prepare to grow and feed a kid. And the only thing our body's given for this Optimus of primes is a pot of sodden stretch mark cream to try to hide the signs. Thanks very much. Just going to have a little sip of tea. Okay, so the next two poems I'm going to read from Plum, and I thought I would do these ones because they're sort of related to Reading and to being brought up there. Not specifically, but they're just poems about the friends that I miss from around that area. So this one, I guess, especially during lockdown, it's been a real bugger to not see people as much, and it's been lovely seeing people on Zoom and things like that, but I didn't realise how much I liked seeing people in 3D, in the flesh. So this is called Call on Me, and I wrote it when I was about 30, and I just realised that everyone had sort of moved away from each other, and most of my friends had moved with partners or for college or uni or jobs, and I really missed just being around lots and lots of friends. Call on me for all friends. We don't call on each other anymore. We all live too far away, and now impromptu visits worry you, might interrupt my day. You do not wake me up on weekends with screams pitched to my bedroom glass. Do not ring my doorbell more than once. Politer now, step off the mat. Now we must plan to meet in diaries. Don't dance in PJs, share the bed. You do not comb my hair for hours to practice plaits. Drink tea instead. I love you still, my friends. I count our meetings down like holidays. But dream each time the doorbell rings. It's you, just called to play. Right, and this second one, I'll read from Plum. And this is slightly different theme for that, but it's one of the strongest memories I have of me and my school friends. And it was when one of my friends, who I won't name, wanted to touch her boyfriend's penis nicely for the first time, and she asked us all how to do it. She asked all the girls how to do it, and none of us had touched a boy's penis before and had no idea how to, really. So instead of sort of suggesting that she talk to her boyfriend, and it didn't really occur to me as an option until about a year ago, but we got together and read up from magazines that were, you know, written for girls and women older than us, and one of them said that you had to go up and down on a penis. So we sort of concocted an idea of what that meant and told our friend what to do, and she did it, and yeah, it didn't end well. It didn't end well, but he's all right now. So this is for those friends, and it's called Yanking. Apparently, up and down did not mean like a lever, like a door handle, like a joystick, like a casino slot machine. It meant up and down, fingers curved around, gentle strokes from shaft to tip. We only learnt this after she had tried the alternative yanking motion and almost snapped her boyfriend's dick. We gathered, listened, stroked her back, our impulse perfumed shirts. We stroked her back in hidden prayer. Thank fuck, she did it first. Right, I'm going to do a few newer poems now, and these are from a book that's not out yet, but it's out in May, and it's called Slug and Other Things I've Been Told to Hate, and it's just all about the things that I'm trying to relearn, things about like death and make it easier to talk about, or blood, or shame, or yeah, lots of different things. So yeah, I'll read a few poems from this, but this is a poem called Parent Bench, and it's one that I'm a bit scared to read, but I think it's all right for for a private audience in Reading. But this, I'm sure any parent can relate to both sides of this. But yeah, just a couple of poems about how boring I find parenting sometimes, and not really to do with the kids at all, but to do with just having to be a sort of sensible parent at times. So yeah, these are about that. This is called Parent Bench. Sitting on the bench as the children take turns floating on the zip wire, legs thrashing in the air. You ask me if I know there's a new Tesco opening up on the Andover Road. No, I say, I don't. Yes, you continue. Bigger than the Tesco's on the high street, but not as big as the Tesco's in the retail park, of course. You laugh. I laugh. Of course. Sitting on the bench as the children make their way from the zip wire to the roundabout, from the roundabout to the seesaw, from the seesaw to the swings, from the swings to the treetops, from the treetops to the clouds, from the clouds and back down into a frantic game of hide and seek. You tell me that the new Tesco's is on the site where Staples used to be. I say, oh really? You say yes. You ask if I ever used to shop in that Staples. I say I did, because I did. I bought my printer paper there. You say that's lucky. Tesco sells printer paper. And this is another one, I guess, about that sort of boredom. I really do like being a parent, but sometimes it's so bloody boring. And this is one that I wrote after, basically I live in a little village, and a lot of the kids at one point were having the same party with the same magician in the same village hall all the time, it seemed. And it was before my kids hit that age where you don't have to stay at the birthday party when she's invited to a birthday party. So the more friends she had, the more of your weekends were basically taken up watching Marvin the Magician in this village hall. And yeah, it was quite a lot of parties she went to there for a while, and I got a bit bored of helping out at children's parties on a Saturday afternoon. So this is about that, and I never thought I had so many sort of sordid thoughts in my head as when I was sort of bored at kids' parties, just imagining the magician naked and all the parents naked. And yeah, anyway, so this is about that. And the magician's really good. I just saw him too many times, and I'm, not the target age. Magic show. I've begun craving absinthe shots, licked bare from bar tops more and more because I'm just so fucking bored at children's parties. Smiling from our fold-up chairs, us adults round the edge, making conversation suitable for parents we don't know well. Yes, my child is that one. Yes, I'm very blessed. The more orange squash I pour, the more pissed I long to get. Little Jamie tells me he hates orange, says it's summer fruits or nothing else. Little Jamie can fuck off, I think. I lie, so there's only orange left. I help to hand the food out. Crisps and pigs fill paper plates. Parents hover, panicking, trying desperately to sell some grapes. Jake's dad adds 3 carrot sticks. Jake looks at his dad like, cunt. Someone tells me that the waiting list for Cubs is almost 1 year long, and I nod and I panic, unsure how to respond because I just don't fucking care. I have my tits out in an absinthe bar with liquor lapping down my front, calling to the bartender to pour me out another one. My daughter runs to me and smiles, climbs on my lap. We sit, we hug, we watch the magic show again together. She claps. I fall in love. Right. I think I've got time for 2 more, I think. So I'm going to do this poem, which is also based in Reading. I don't normally only read poems about sex, but it seems to be that sort of gig tonight, so I'll just go with it. So this is a poem that I wrote called Testicles, and it's after in the Reading area. I maybe once kicked a boy that I was friends with in the balls, and we were sort of playing, and I thought it'd be funny, and then my dad told me off for that and gave me a big talk about how soft these areas of the body were, and it sort of changed my view of boys forever. And this is a poem about that. So I'm really sorry, I can't even remember what the boy's name is now. We're not friends anymore, maybe because I kicked him in the balls, which is fair enough. So yeah, testicles. Unless, of course, there is fear of attack, Holly, never ever kick a boy in the nutsack again. Of all the words my dad spoke, these still echo off each crotch I see. I watched him from that day on, differently. The boy, releasing mother's hand at gates. The boy bundling playground friends. The boy tensing molehill biceps. The boy sweating unexpected stiffness. The boy plucking at our bra straps. The boy plucking at guitar chords. The boy plucking at his moustache sperms, bum fluff growth. inversely graphed with how many times we would ever see him weep out loud again. In crowds, I sometimes picture them, pinned to the outside, those soft hearts hid in cotton, slapping thigh to thigh, open to the elements, water bombs of effervescence, vulnerable as virgin boys whistled over trenches, dreaming of a womb. So I think I have run out of time, so that seems like I'll just end it on the testicle poem, and I really hope you enjoyed some of them, and have a lovely, lovely night, and I hope you're all right, and thank you very, very much for having me. Bye.
Thank you very much, Holly. We're delighted. Last up, we've got Mo Abu Bakr with us. Welcome, Mo. He's a regular open micer and recent Britport shortlistee. So welcome to the stage.
Thank you for the invite. Despite the rule of 6, I'm very happy to see old friends. So the theme of it is this evening about vision, and I want to share 2 visions. The first, I would like to read a prologue, if you like. The weight of a COVID virus is measured at 0.85 atograms. That's 1/1,000,000th of a trillionth grams. It takes around 70 billion viruses to make a person sick. These weigh at about 0.0000005 grams. Since the total number of cases worldwide is now over 3 million, the total weight of the viruses that has infected the world comes to about 1.5 grams. It takes just 1.5 grams of viruses to bring mankind to its knees. So this is recipe to unlock. Take a teaspoon of this, a little more than a pinch. Don't sprinkle, don't mix, toss into the abyss. Wash your hands the span of 2 birthday songs. Wait just a little bit longer. Apart, banned, distanced, canned. In time, you will look in your palm and find a ball of light. See desolate streets bustling. Hear glaring music busking, the unruly noise, the unsolicited touch, unmasked faces, and the unostracized. Sirens' silence, celestial. Herds of prisoners and bereaved descending on familiar haunts, rising from a summer hibernation, shaking hands. Well, for the second vision, I would like to dedicate to my daughter. It's her birthday. Happy birthday, darling. And these are visions of 3 daughters. The first is a refugee. The second is caught in the crossfire of a war. And the third about the school run. So 1, prisoners. They seep into leaky boats, children with middle-aged men's hands. In the fracture of time, they sit, expressionless, puppy-eyed, out of tears, scurrying for the mirage of a distant home. Under a black moon, thin rafts float, fish with human breath. A red shoe hankers for land, is washed ashore. 2. Daughters don't grow on trees. This girl is haunting me. Someone's daughter, I don't know her, but she comes every night, tells me she lost her toys in the hubbub of seas, of flying barrels and derelict buildings, speaks of falling skies, wailing cities and silent graves. Her gaze is distant, detached, but attached to me the way a splinter grasps skin. Her eyes are deep pools of questions, 6 feet up. in a bare room where furniture is hunger, cold and fear. Death unfurls in red bits of sky and yellow gasps of air. Burnt arms and wrists, she makes frantic pace through the window, hold on to a tree, stays there, held by a stretched thread of prayers. Daughters don't grow on trees. This one is plucked. As she falls, everything goes still. Well, the third one is about school run, and it's in two parts. The first part when a father cannot do the school run, and the second part is the joy of the school run. One, going away. When I see our house in the rear mirror as it shrinks while the speed grows, I see your face growing large on the horizon of a purple sky, etched with hearts and hauntings. I carry their richness in me. As I drive away, the starry night is sprinkled with the confetti of your smiles. 2. The run. Through the smiling windows, birds of joy are playing near, arms wide open to hug the day, the tickling breeze, the lifting air, trampoline pavement with dancing dwellers, cuddly curbs and singing streets. The world is buzzing. Good morning, laughter lanes, jumping joys, skipping through the giggling gates. And as she waves, happiness is a smile on her little face. Happy birthday, darling. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mo. Mesmerising as always. Thank you to Reading Culture Live and to South Street Arts Centre. And most of all, thank you for buying your ticket and helping raise funds for South Street, dearly loved local cultural hub. Thank you for joining us for National Poetry Day. We hope that tonight's readings have uplifted, embraced and energised you. Good night. Hope to see you soon.